L'Jarius Sneed to the Eagles would be amazing. That's probably why some Eagle players are actively trying to recruit him. And here we go again. Another bad report about Nick Kotite and the Eagles front office comes out just in time for the Combine. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, Dingbat here. Hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're hanging in there. You know, it just doesn't ever seem to end. It really doesn't. Today, we are getting ready to have Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni speak at a press conference. And just in time for the press conference is another negative report about Nick Kotite and his coaching prowess. All right? It just doesn't end. And how would you like to have L'Jarius Sneed be a Philadelphia Eagle? I would love it. I'm sure you would love it. And some players are actively trying to bring him here. Now we're going to get into all of it and so much more. But before we do that, I just got to say, a reminder, Thursday evening, 8:30 Eastern, I will be doing a cigar video live stream. We'll be hanging out, smoking stogies, doing whatever, celebrating 100,000 subscribers. So make sure, if you want, come hang out with us. It should be absolutely a lot of fun. Now, where do I begin? It's just like one thing after another thing after another thing after another thing. It's crazy. So let me start with some good news. All right, let's start with some good news. First thing. Big report today. I don't know how much this actually means in the grand scheme of the Eagles pursuing this guy, but we know that there are Eagle players who are actively trying to talk L'Jarius Sneed to come into Philly. Here's a report. Multiple Pound Eagles, not hashtag, players have been texting superstar free agent cornerback L'Jarius Sneed, recruiting him to come to Philly, per at Tony Pauline. This includes Boston Scott and Milton Williams, who are former college teammates of Sneed. So basically, you're getting college teammates who are trying to recruit him. And listen, if they got Sneed, that would be one of the best free agent moves that you could actually make. What are they going to do with Bradbury? Who the hell knows? But they got to do something. Got to take out the trash berry. You know what I'm saying? So they would have to get rid of him. But Sneed would absolutely be a huge upgrade. He's only 27 years old, and of course, this would be absolutely fantastic. Now, just because, and we've learned this before though, just because you have good corners doesn't mean you use them the right way or to their strengths. So Vic Fangio, once again, we talked about this with him and Hassan Reddick, he has to be responsible for putting his talented players in the best possible position. But if the Eagles could somehow get Sneed, it would be a huge improvement to the secondary. If you had Sneed and Slade for 1 year, I think you're doing okay. I actually think you would be doing okay. So I'm for this 100%. Remember, the Eagles are going to have about, and we talked about this yesterday, they're going to have about $60 million. You know how many chickens can get sacrificed in the state of Texas for $60 million? You know all the satanic sacrifices they could do for $60 million? It's a lot of money, a lot of fuzzles. So the Eagles will be able to make moves being about $60 million under cap when it's all said and done. L'Jarius Sneed would be a great pickup. Will it happen? We'll see. There's going to be a lot of teams looking to go out and get him. So we don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see. Also, for those of you guys that are looking for a linebacker, and this is standard. I don't think this is really that big of a deal, but I'm going to talk about it anyways. NFL rumors. The Philadelphia Eagles have a formal meeting scheduled with Clemson linebacker Jeremiah Trotter Jr. at the scouting combine. That is no surprise to me at all. Of course they're going to meet him. They're going to meet every single linebacker they could possibly meet, I'm sure. There's no doubt that the Eagles are going to have to invest money in going out and getting a linebacker this year. It's just going to have to happen. So, I mean, that sounds great, but it absolutely, it is what it is. Now, if he comes in for one of their visits to the city of Philly and to the NovaCare, I think that increases his chances a lot. One of these formal meetings, we're going to hear about a lot of players having formal meetings with the Eagles. It doesn't, unfortunately, it doesn't mean a whole lot. But, I'm all for Trotter. If you get him in the third round or something like that, I'm all for it. But, they need linebackers. They need linebackers. They don't just need to draft linebackers. They need to go out in free agency and get linebackers. Get me Patrick Queen and then draft the Jeremiah Trotter Jr., something like that. That would be absolutely great. Now, as you guys know, we're going to talk about this later, Nick Sirianni, Howie Roseman meeting the media. And just as they're getting ready to meet the media today, guess what we get? Guess what we get? We get another report. Get this. Report. Some veteran Pound Eagle players say Nick Sirianni and his staff played favorites last season, and if you were a second-tier player or a recent addition, Sirianni would, quote, target you, per Marcus Hayes of the Philadelphia Inquirer. Quote from one of the players, I will say it doesn't help when they treat guys two different ways. I guess some guys can't do anything wrong. Now, what the hell are we supposed to make of this? Seriously, what are we supposed to make of this? Nick Sirianni is speaking or treating players different. I don't know. Isn't Marcus Hayes not? I'm not sure. Isn't Marcus Hayes the one that put out the stuff on A.J. Brown and then didn't show up the next day? Or, didn't show up because he didn't want to face him? Isn't that the same guy? I find it very curious that this comes out right now, right before the press conference, like it was held back, okay? I'm sure if he had this stuff and this was true, I'm sure he could put this out later. He put it out there because they're getting ready for a press conference. And here's the thing. I know Nick Kotite has his faults as a coach. I know. I know that there were problems. There has to be. You just don't collapse the way you did. What are all the specifics? I don't know. Do I believe this report word for word? No, I don't. I think there's probably two sides to it. But I will say a couple things. One, it does seem like sometimes when you look at a guy like Rashad Penny, even look at DeAndre Swift, it looks like a lot of the new guys, they don't like to use right away. They really have to be put in a situation where they got to use them. The only reason that we got to see DeAndre Swift play the way he did last year, the only reason was because Kenneth Gainwell got hurt in week 2, didn't play. I truly believe if Gainwell doesn't get hurt versus Minnesota and Swift has to go out there, I don't think we know what we have in Swift because I don't think they would have used him. I really don't. I think they would have stuck with Penny. With Gainwell. So, this is like every other one of these reports. I take it with a grain of salt. Don't put much stock into it. I'm sure there's some kernel of truth about something somewhere, but really, it's, to me, not that big of a deal. The Eagles have already made their choice. They've already chose to bring this coach back. So whatever flaws he has, whatever they had going on in the locker room, he's going to have to work out, okay? Considering that Marcus Hayes, what happened with the A.J. Brown thing, and considering the fact that it comes out today when there's a press conference, I don't know. It's got me curious, or should I say skeptical. I won't say curious, pause, but skeptical nonetheless.
AJ's been pretty publicly frustrated with some of the outside noise. I guess what's been your reaction to it? Do you talk to him about, handling that type of stuff?
AJ, like I've been telling you guys for a long time, not only is he, one of the best players I've ever been around, he's also one of the best leaders, and and he's going to do anything he can do to stick up for his teammates. That's why I admire. That's why he wears a C on his chest.
All right, so as you guys know, Howie Roseman, Nick Sirianni are sitting there at the Combine. They had their press conference, and there were a few things that I liked that each guy said. I'll be quite honest with you. When we come to Howie, he didn't tell you nothing. What did Howie say? We're going to try to get the best players. We're going to use our cap money to the best we can. Hassan Reddick, we'll see how it works out, how it shakes out. We love Hassan Reddick. He's a Philly legend, went to high school there, lived in the area, was an Eagle, all those kind of things, went to college there. So we heard all those things from Howie. I think Howie Roseman really gave us nothing. He gave us nothing. The only thing that I really liked that Howie said that I thought stood out was when he talked about Devontae Smith. This is exactly what he said.
Well, Devontae's an incredible person, an incredible player, obviously homegrown, young guy. Without getting into specifics, those aren't guys that you really want to leave.
Boom! Howie Roseman is telling you Devontae Smith isn't going nowhere. You don't let homegrown players like that go. And he'll be there a long time. They'll get an extension done with him. Howie Roseman he's been through this too long. He knows how to handle the press. He knows how to answer questions. He's not going to give them anything. He's not going to tell us anything we don't know. They're going to figure it out about Reddick. They got $60 million under the cap, and he's going to go out and he's going to pursue players to make this team better. And he's probably going to concentrate a little more on defense because he thinks it's something that they let pass last year. That's about it. And I think we're going to see Howie be really, really aggressive. I expect the Eagles to be one of the most aggressive teams there is this offseason. Now, as far as Nick Kotite goes, I got to tell you, this Marcus Hayes report came out. Nobody really pushed him on it or anything like that. He did talk about how certain players, you have to deal with different ways. Some guys you can yell at, some guys you got to put your arm around, and it just really depends on the players. So maybe that's kind of what Marcus Hayes is talking about, if he's talking about anything that makes sense. But I thought Nick was fine. I thought he came off good. I really liked and appreciated, as we played earlier, what he said about A.J. Brown. I'm glad that he stuck up for A.J. Brown, and I thought what he said about Jalen Hurts, and, there was questions about should Jalen Hurts become a better leader. And Nick Sirianni said, listen, the guy has the things that he is and the things that he isn't. You can't he can't be somebody he's not. He has to be authentic, and he has to lead from being an authentic, honest person. So I liked pretty much all that he said. Still no real clarity to why this team collapsed. I don't know if they even have answers for it. But at the end of the day, that's last season, man. Moving forward, we got the draft, we got free agency coming, and I think it's time to let all the bullcrap go and get focused on this year. But I'll put link in the description to where you guys can go see the whole press conference for both guys if you want to. It was typical Eagles press conference as far as I'm concerned. They weren't really going to give you anything, but there are a few nuggets in it for everybody. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat, and remember, it's Howie Vision, baby. We're all just living in it. So one of the things Nick also talked about in the press conference was Hassan Reddick. He says he doesn't know where it's going to shake out, but he wants and hopes Hassan Reddick will remain an Eagle. I don't see any way in which Hassan Reddick is not an Eagle. Unless somebody is going to come and offer the Eagles a boatload. Howie Roseman is just not going to trade him for nothing. One thing with Howie Roseman, he doesn't lose trades. Philly 500 doesn't lose cannolis. Pause. Howie Roseman don't lose trades. And he ain't going to lose any trade on Hassan Reddick, meaning Hassan Reddick ain't going nowhere. Denzel Washington out.